Hello and welcome to the Third Sector. I'm your host, Tamara Brinkman. In our society, there are three sectors: the public, the private, and the nonprofit. And it's that third sector that we're here to talk about today. My guests on today's show are Emma Ullery from Brighter Path, Inc. and John Faas from Richmond Civic Theater. Starting us off today is Emma Ullery, Executive Director of Brighter Path, Inc. Hi, Emma. Thanks for joining us on the Third Sector.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Well, we're happy that you were able to come on the show and share with our viewers all about Brighter Path, Inc. And so let's dive right into to tell us how the organization got started, how long it's been around.
Yeah, so in 2017 is our official start date, but it actually started quite a few years before then. Me and my father have always had an interest in horses, and as a teenager, I would just teach my friends and family and friends of friends how to ride horses. And eventually we started noticing the impact that it was having on some of the people that we were working with. So we slowly evolved it into just kind of a backyard fun thing. But it really turned into helping children that were working through minor diagnoses like ADD, ADHD, maybe they were getting bullied in school. And that's really what set my goals and my passion for working with horses and children together. So in 2017, we decided to turn it into a full-fledged nonprofit, and we expanded into a board of directors and having other instructors and staff members and volunteers. And here we are today.
Wow, that's quite the journey in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
Tell us what the mission of the organization is.
So we work with children and adults with any degree of disability, whether that's physical, cognitive, emotional, or social. Anyone working toward a therapeutic goal in mind, and we help them reach their goal in a very unique and individual way, working with their horses.
So I find this completely interesting, but can you tell the viewers a little bit more about how is it or what's the connection with horses that provides that therapeutic benefit?
Yeah, so it's very unique to each person depending on what their goals are. Take, for instance, physical goals. Horses have a very unique body style, and when riding a horse, your body actually mimics what's happening as if you were walking by yourself, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So students that may not be able to walk on their own, or they have low muscle tone, or they struggle to walk, they actually have the sensation of walking when they ride their horse. So their body gets that motion without the body actually having to do the work.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then other benefits include emotional, social, and cognitive. Working around horses is known to lower heart rate, to lower your blood pressure. It increases confidence in many different ways. And our group sessions promote a lot of social connection and making friends and how to have boundaries. And really, the possibilities are limitless.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about maybe what your goals are for, say, the next year or so with Brighter Path.
Yeah, so this coming year, we have a goal of certifying all of our instructors. All of our instructors will be certified through Path International, which is really exciting. Right now, I am the head instructor, so I am mentoring all of our instructors currently, and we are excited to have everyone on their own and being able to work independently with their students. And another goal is to be able to partner with mental health professionals to expand our services as well.
Okay. Okay. So the certification for the folks you're working with allows them to basically be an individual or independent under your organization, trainer or leader. I don't know. What do you call yourselves when you're working with your clients?
We are therapeutic riding instructors.
Okay.
And so right now, basically, they are working under my mentorship. And as soon as they're done with their certification, they will be able to handle all of the planning and the instruction and the goal setting for their own students. So that's really exciting.
That is really exciting. How many folks would you guess you've touched either since you've started or in the last few years? Well, I guess, you've got 5 years in?
Yeah. I would say quite a few.
Okay.
We average, our writing program averages anywhere between 100 and 150 a year.
Okay.
We've also had the opportunity to expand our programming. We have our Marvelous Minis program. So we have a miniature horse that travels the community, and he can visit schools. He walks through all of the parades. He's been to hospitals. So really the numbers that he has seen is quite a bit. I think we averaged like 1,000 last year.
Oh, wow.
And yeah. And we also have our Warriors Way program. So we're now working with veterans, military, first responders.
That's great. Okay, so what is the mini horse's name? I have to know.
We have Buzz Lightyear and Tina Turner.
Okay, that's awesome. So we have been putting up some graphics while we've been talking, a little bit of information about Brighter Path Inc. But if people were interested in trying to learn more about how to bring Buzz Lightyear or Tina Turner to, an event of theirs, or if it would make sense or be a fit, what would be the best way for them to connect with you guys, if that's even possible?
Yeah, so a lot of our information is going to be listed on our Facebook and website. But if you're interested in more detailed information, please feel free to reach out by email or calling us.
Okay.
We would be happy to answer any of your questions.
Okay. All right. Well, I love that you've got the minis. That's so incredible.
Yeah, it's usually a favorite.
I'm sure that it is. I want to go quickly because before we actually started recording, we were talking about how you're preparing because, of course, it's winter time and there's some limitations with you being able to serve. So when you talk about, in a year, what is that timeline for you guys as far as when you are open and operational and if you are closed completely at any point for services?
Yeah. So our writing service take place between April and December every year, but our Marvelous Minis run year round because Buzz and Tina can walk right into your building, your office, your school. But yeah, our writing program takes place April to December.
Okay. All right. That's wonderful. Tell us about the impact you see your organization having or having had on our community.
Yeah, one thing that I'm extremely proud of, and we worked really hard from the inception of Brighter Path, is our scholarship program. One of the reasons we knew we wanted to make Brighter Path a nonprofit was so that we could start a scholarship program to be able to fund students coming into Brighter Path that wouldn't necessarily be able to financially support it. So as of right now, 99% of our students are receiving some form of scholarship to attend their programming, whether that is a partial or full scholarship. And that's something we're really proud of.
That is something to be proud of. That's wonderful news. And that's great that you guys are able to do that. Thank you. I ask this to pretty much all of my guests. It's always a little bit of a tough question, but what would happen if your organization ceased to exist in our community?
I would say the uniqueness of an alternative therapy. We are, as you can tell, very unique. There's not a lot of programs that work with horses and children together, especially in a therapeutic setting. So one of the main reasons that our program works is because it's so unique and it doesn't feel like a very traditional condensed therapy. It's very open, it's very free, it's very welcoming, and I think it would be very missed if we weren't able to exist.
Yeah. Have you seen your numbers increase as a result of the changes in our world in the last couple of years?
Absolutely, yes. And it's actually changed in ways that we weren't really expecting. When we first started, being a therapeutic writing facility, obviously our goals were to work with a lot of physical diagnosis, and we do. But we have been surprised at how many of our students come to us for cognitive, social, and emotional support as well. And I think the last few years have really had an impact on that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, fortunately, we have an organization like you guys in the community to help, another avenue of supports around that social, emotional, and as you mentioned, cognitive issues. Tell us a little bit about how you guys are governed. You had mentioned that you formed a board. You are a 501c3, and you've got some trainers. So what's your staff organization like, and how are you governed?
Yeah, so we have a board of directors of 9 currently, always looking to expand like any other nonprofit, of course. We have a staff of 6, and our volunteers are a very large part of our program. We average between 18 and 20 volunteers a week, and we do rely heavily on our volunteers. Each student that comes in will have between 1 and 3 volunteers each, so we could have upwards of 10 to 15 volunteers per session. So we do rely heavily on volunteers. So if you're interested in working with horses or children, please give us a call.
Well, that was going to be my next question, is if people are interested in volunteering or getting involved with your organization, what's the best way for them to do that? So we've just put the phone number up on the screen. I know you can't see that, but for our viewers, here's the phone number. And we have been putting up their website as well as their Facebook page. I think any of those avenues would work to connect with Emma and her team as far as if you are interested in learning more about what those volunteer opportunities are. And if you've never worked with horses, can you still be a volunteer?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
We have volunteers that come in that have worked with horses all their life, but they've never even talked to a child. But we have other volunteers that come in that love kids and they've never seen a horse in real life. So we are happy to train you in whatever avenue that you would like to go in.
Wow, that sounds wonderful. As we, I think we're down to just another minute or two here. What brings you the most joy about what you do?
Oh my gosh, so many things. I truly have always had a passion for children, and being able to watch them grow and help give them the skill set to do that has been such a big part of my life. And now to be able to instill that in other instructors and watch them enjoy what they do, that has been so incredible to me. And I will always cherish that. It's just been wonderful.
Well, that's terrific to hear. On the flip side of that, I guess, what's the biggest challenge that you're facing these days?
So like any other nonprofit, we struggle to have enough volunteers, find funding. Horses eat a lot of food. So if you're interested, please feel free to visit our website to see all of our sponsorship opportunities and donation opportunities. But yeah, we have every other nonprofit struggle of just trying to keep on chugging.
Well, I think our community's gotten an opportunity to learn a lot more about Brighter Path Inc. and hopefully, if they can reach out with whatever opportunities that might work for them. And I think that brings us to our time already today. I so enjoyed learning so much about Brighter Path Inc. And thank you, Emma,
thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, for joining me today and for sharing with the community all the great work that you are doing and that Brighter Path Inc. is bringing to Wayne County. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
When we come back, John Faas from Richmond Civic Theater will be joining me. Stay with us. Welcome back. John Faas from the Richmond Civic Theater is my next guest joining us today. There's John. Welcome to the third sector. Hello.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to do the show. I'm sure our viewers are excited to hear from you. So tell us about Richmond Civic Theater. How long has it been in this community? When did that start?
Well, the building itself was built in 1909. by Omar Murray. And you can actually see over my shoulder, over here, actually,
Mm-hmm.
the big safe that's in my office still has Omar's name on it. It's the safe that this was actually his office. My
Oh,
office
wow.
was his office, yeah. So the name of the building is the Murray Theater. And it was originally a vaudeville house. Had some really famous, wonderful, legendary performers perform on the stage. Fanny Brice, Louis Armstrong, Sammy Davis Jr., the Marx Brothers, all back in the day.
Wow.
Um,
I had no idea of that.
this is actually one of the few standing historic vaudeville houses uh, around.
What a wonderful piece of history for our community to have something like that. I bet a lot of people don't know that. Maybe they do. Maybe I'm not.
It really is extraordinary for something like this to still be standing and to have been so beautifully maintained, particularly by the Richmond Civic Theater organization, which took ownership of the building in the early 1960s.
Okay.
Richmond Civic Theater organization itself was founded in 1941 by a group based out in Earlham. And Hazel Thornburg Emery was teaching drama classes to Jewish refugees out at Earlham. And one of her students was a refugee from Nazi Germany. And his name was Norbert Silbiger, and he was a theatrical genius, an actor, and she fostered his creative career and brought him to the Richmond Civic Theater organization and made him he was the first reigning director of the organization. He directed all the shows for about 20 years.
Okay.
Right about there.
Wow.
The organization has been around since 1941, and they've been in this building since the early 60s and been thriving ever since.
Wow. That's so, such rich history. That's so exciting. That's such neat things to hear. So you're a theater. Do you have a mission? Do you have a vision as a theater in terms of your direction and what guides you?
Our mission is to provide live theatrical experiences that educate, entertain, enlighten, and there's the other one that I know I'm not going to remember. Well, you get the general idea.
Right. Maybe bring some laughter.
We're looking at the mission right now to try to craft something that has that's a little simpler.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, we exist to provide theatrical experiences for the community.
Mm-hmm.
And as part of that, we're a community theater.
Mm-hmm.
So we rely tremendously on the volunteerism of most of the people who are involved here. The only paid individuals in our organization are the staff.
Well, so before we go back to the folks that are volunteering, let's take an opportunity to learn about the staff. How many staff do you have? What's that structure look like for you guys?
Well, we for the longest time, the staff was only 2 people, and that was our Stage 1 managing director, who is Ryan Shaw. Mm-hmm. Ryan's been here for 7 years, and our office manager, Bonnie Miller, who has been here for 10 years. Oh, wow. With the addition of me in the middle of last year, so May of 21, as executive director, that brought us up to 3. And then this past October, we hired a full-time technical director. Okay. And his name is Aaron Clark. And Aaron has volunteered here with the organization for about 6 or 7 years. And we brought him on full-time because his skills in technical theater are just exemplary.
Tell me, so about how many productions do you guys do a year? or does it really fluctuate year to year? Is there sort of a target number you guys try to do?
We have two main programs. The adult program is what we call our main stage, and we have the Stage 1 youth theater program, and that is obviously youth, anyone 18 years or older, or 18 years or under. They can be 18 years old because some kids are still 18 when they're in high school.
Yeah.
So for our main stage series, we do 5 productions a year. What we've worked that out to currently is 3 main musicals and then 2 non-musical straight plays.
Okay.
And then for Stage 1, they fluctuate a little bit. Right now, they're doing 3 shows per season, and one of those is a large musical, and 2 of those this year, as an example, would be just a non-musical play. But that depends on what's available and what the kids want to do, and all sorts of things go into choosing those.
Yeah, I was going to ask, so how do you guys, or who is responsible for deciding which plays or musicals you guys are going to do, whether it's the adult side or the Stage 1 side, or the youth side, I guess?
There are 2 committees, and so they both function basically in the same way. It's a committee of people that are asked to sit on the committee by the chair, and the chairperson, at this point, I believe, has to be a seated board member. And so it's about, 6 or 7 people. They all get together. We collect information from the people who volunteer here. So actors, directors, technicians, audience members, all sorts of stuff. And we want to know what they want to do. So what does the audience want to see? What do the actors and technicians want to produce? We take all that information. We take that to the play reading committee. They pull out the ones that obviously are repeated the most often in the what seems to be a higher priority. Read those, see how they can fit together in a season, making sure that we're covering as many bases as possible for people who like musicals, but also like edgier stuff, more modern things, some classical repertoire, some old Broadway standards. We do the best that we can to try to have something on the menu for everyone.
Okay. Well, that's always a challenging thing to do, but you do the best you can, so I can understand that. Tell us about the impact that the theater has on the community as you see it.
Well, we're one of the main arts organizations in the community. So you've got this community is really fortunate to have such an amazing and thriving arts community, with our friends over at RAM and the Richmond Symphony Orchestra, Monica over there, and us. We're like the big ones. We have audience members every year of between 10 and 15,000. In the 20 years plus that our youth program has been up and running, we have served over 50,000 students. Every year, we have school day shows for our Stage 1 productions. Those bring in several thousand students throughout the year. So we make a tremendous impact, as far as, particularly with musical theater, as far as theater producing organizations in the community, we're the premier one, and certainly the longest standing.
Yeah, no, definitely. If people were interested in getting involved in the theater or volunteering or engaging in some level, what's the best way for them to connect with the theater to do that? Is that through Facebook? Is it your website? What's the best way for folks to connect?
Well, we have multiple venues right now, and we're really working to streamline to create one really great one. So there's some changes that are going to be coming to that process here, hopefully with next season. But the best way is probably to go to our website, www.gorct.org, and you can click Get Involved, and it will show you what the upcoming auditions are and how you can get involved. There's a volunteer sign-up form there, or you can always reach out via Facebook. We monitor that in many different ways, and we're happy to have anyone and everyone who wants to come make living art with us.
Well, that's a wonderful invitation. What brings you the most joy about what you do?
Well, it's working in the theater industry is hard because obviously Broadway is the pinnacle. So, that's what everyone aspires to, and that's what the general population thinks theater is. But there are regional and community theaters throughout this country that vastly outnumber what goes on Broadway. And to be able to do that as a career and to bring cultural experiences, and for me, it's musical theater. That's what my degree is in. That's what most of my career has been in. To be able to bring that to audiences, and particularly young audiences, of little kids that, have maybe never seen a live musical before, that will grow up and either, become part of the career, or they'll make theater part of their family's lives. What we do is really, really important. And to be able to have that be my career and to lead such a tremendous organization like this is really a gift. So every day that I get to come to work and sit in this drafty old building is really a gift.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I had one quick question: was how many people can be sit in the theater? Will it hold per performance?
That's an excellent question. The auditorium has currently 525 seats.
Oh, wow.
325 on the floor. And then the remainder are in the lower and upper balcony.
Wow. All right. Well, I certainly learned an awful lot. We're to the end of our time today, but I've learned so much about the theater. I hope our viewers have too. We've been sharing via Facebook and email and web information, phone number and the like, while you've been sharing with us all the great information about Richmond Civic Theater. So thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, and as we wrap up this episode of The Third Sector, I'd like to thank my guest, John Faas from Richmond Civic Theater, that we just heard from, and earlier in the show, Emma Ullery from Brighter Path, Inc. We appreciate them sharing with the community all the great work that their organizations do. And that'll bring us to our episode for the day today. So thank you so much. Stay well, and we'll see you next time on The Third Sector.